name's Anne. I'd like to welcome Nigella Lawson back to Borders Kitchen.
Thank you.
And we're looking at your new book, Nigella Kitchen. We're very excited about it. And we're going to talk about some sauces, specifically the jumbo chili sauce, which I want you to explain the name to us, but also to talk about sauces in general.
Yes. Now the name, you had to be patient with me because the name is I feel that some recipes you inherit and some you have to marry into, and this recipe comes from my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law's name is James. And then it gets shortened to Jim, and then I call him Jimbo, but as a tease because he's of a compact size, we call him Jumbo, and sometimes Jumbolina, but not very much to his face. And so no, he doesn't mind at all. So he gave me this sauce, and it kind of suited it because the thing about it's obviously they're not giant chilies, but it's got a real punch. Not so much that you sort of recoil with breathing fire. You want a bit of heat, but the thing is it's really countered by the sweetness too, because it's a sauce that is somehow emulsified, yes, with a bit of oil like lots of sauces are, but with some roasted red peppers from a jar. And those roasted peppers have that sweet, satiny silkiness, so it gives it a richness and balances the chilies. So I've got the roasted red peppers, I've got some chilies, and I've got some green chilies there like this.
And that would vary the type by heat that you want. Right?
And also, the seeds, for a milder sauce, you take the seeds out. And then if you wanted to make it really hot, but it's one of those things you make once you decide how much you want. And I use the cilantro stalks as well, so I don't throw those away, they're in there. And I have some lime zest, some lime juice, and some garlic. And this is what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and turn it on. As I say, me and machinery, that's the worst thing. Oh.
It's blending into that beautiful color.
Beautiful, isn't it? Now, so then I'm going to put the cilantro leaves in. I love the earthiness of cilantro.
It smells so good.
And the wonderful thing about this sauce, in fact all sauces, is that I find it just sometimes, like if people come by unexpectedly, or if you want something just to perk up the week, you have something that's easy and you don't need to do an awful lot else. And in fact, this is fantastic too with the leftover roast meat. There we go. Then I'm going to have to shout some peanut oil just to help it all come together. That's enough.
And I noticed in your recipes that you tend to like canola oil and peanut oil versus the virgin oil, extra virgin.
I just feel, I adore extra virgin olive oil. I love it. However, when you're cooking, if you're putting heat on, with it, you lose the flavour, so why pay all that money? And when you're putting it in, to be honest, I've got a lot of chili in there. Are you going to taste it's very, very expensive extra virgin olive oil or not? Really, you just want the oil to convey the flavour. The flavour is coming from all these other ingredients. You're not requiring extra to go in. So, and I love this. Can you see it? My little tray ready. It's incredibly versatile because it's lovely with shrimp. As I say, if you have leftover meat from a roast earlier on, it's great with that. It's great with chicken, with raw vegetables. So it's one of those recipes that you could use, say, as I say, you're pretty exhausted midweek. But this sauce, frankly, would make anything feel like, oh, that's better now. A bit of zing.
Somebody drops by
for
zing
in my life.
It's easy
yes, and I don't believe in waiting for company either. Quite good for that too. But I feel, why should I have to wait for someone else's pleasure? I'm very happy to, eat delicious food alone, and I think that's a good thing. But I also think it's one of those that if you were having like a cocktail, it's quite nice to do something for people to eat that doesn't require endless rolling and stuffing and cooking in over 3 days. So it's relaxed food. The thing is, it's food that you want to eat in the kitchen, and that's what I believe in. And so I also think the thing about anything with chili is that it's addictive, so that this started off as just something that was introduced to my kitchen, and then it became something that I can't have my kitchen without it. It's always in the fridge.
And your son clamors for it.
My son, he's only 14, I say only 14, but he absolutely adores it, and he often says to me, you need to put more chili in it. But I think there's a certain way which I don't wish to disparage the male sex, so you have to, but how like men feel like it makes them more like that if they eat the hotter food. So I think there's a bit of that going on, which is good, fine, but I like it to be quite spicy too. But the thing is, because the flavour is so nice, and so because as I say, that the wonderful kind of tender, voluptuous silkiness of the roasted red peppers, you don't need it to be spicy. You can. It's got a proper flavour, and it's got a sort of resonance of its own, which is great. But I'm forever, whipping up a few, a sauce to go with something, because so sometimes you just, you've got some chicken breasts in the fridge, so you don't need to do anything that much. You can just saute them. To be honest, you could poach them, you could roast them, and then you've got that alongside. So it's kind of a shortcut, because I love repetition, so I love cooking the same things over and over again. But sometimes somehow like everyone else, I'm kind of tired, my mind goes blank, I don't know what I'm going to do to make it different. So I know that it can be a plain bit of fish or a plain bit of chicken and a sauce, much like this, or you can vary the herbs and spices. That will always somehow provide me with an exquisite supper without taxing my brain on a long day.
And I like that you give us, I think, 3 or 4 choices in the book, and it would make a full week to be able to rotate those in and just add variety to everything you make, right?
I think so, and I think, this just has a retro thing to say, but if you ever read cookbooks that are from the 50s or 60s, that hostesses like to pride themselves on their signature vinaigrette or something like that. And I think, well, why not have like a signature sauce? So, you're going around to someone's house, you can always put it in a jar, take it. It's a really easy thing to make. It's a rather nice gift to give people, and it becomes personal. So I think that, and I think one can play with it how one wants. That's the beauty of cooking, that that you can bring to it your own personality, and I love that.
I can't wait to try it over eggs and refried beans.
That would be brilliant.
First I read it, I was like, oh, that's what I want to try.
That would be fantastic. Is, as you have to say, that if you were feeling a bit the worse for wear, a few fried potatoes and a fried egg, and that sauce, that wouldn't be a bad choice.
Well, thank you again for joining us. This all looks terrific.
Thank you.